be like a sponge.
Oh, I hope so. I've picked on this topic tonight because Google literally made some changes, whether you're aware of them or not, about a week to a fortnight ago. And it's going to be for anybody who's got a local business and has Google Places, a Google Places listing. This will be the biggest opportunity you will ever have to take over page one ahead of your competitors. Because if you think of Google, Google is 90% of the search of all searches that carried out there. I think it's about 92% in the UK at the moment. Even America now, which used to be about 67% of the people using Google, they're up into the 80 and 90%. Google's just dominating search. And if you think about it, it's actually a proper word now. People Google it. It's actually a recognized term. And we use Google to search for information. So it's become just the online Yellow Pages. And we all know Yellow Pages is dying. So I just want to go through some stats a sec. I really want you to get this, because if you don't get this, you're not going to take action. So just maybe bear with me. These are figures, these are stats. They're pulled from all over the world. A lot of it is Americanized on that. But 20% of Google's total searches contain a geographic local qualifier. In other words, somebody types in plumber Swansea, yeah, or a plumber Llanelli, or a carpenter in Llanelli. They actually put the town after, or the city after it. 3 billion searches every month are for local-based keywords. It isn't somebody looking for holidays. This is people looking for local business, local services. 1 in every 3 Google searches is from a mobile. We just had a conversation before, and somebody's just done 10 searches today on their phone because they were on the road. You know, that's somebody in this room. Half of Bing, now I know Bing don't do, on a big search engine, but half of Bing's mobile searches are for local. They're local searches. 30% of all restaurant searches are from a mobile device. That's people looking to see where they're going to eat, what offers are on, looking on their mobile phone. 40% of all Google Maps traffic is from mobile phones. Google Maps has 150 mobile users. That's 150 million people who use their phone to actually find directions. I've done it myself. I was in Carmarthen, got lost looking for Lynn Griffiths' accountancy firm, used a Google map. 55% of adult smartphone users surveyed indicated that they use their phone for local-based recommendations and services. 90% of smartphone users search for local information on their phones. 90%. And look at this consumer behaviours. 90% of searchers who perform some offline follow-up with businesses that they find online. 90%. So people go searching online and then follow it up with the local company. 59% of local information seekers visit a business, actually go to the business after they looked it up on their phone. 51% of people would characterise their shopping behaviour as research online by offline. So a lot of people would look to see what deals are online, and then they see if anybody local is going to match it. I've done it myself with TVs, gone to see what I can get on the internet, gone down to a local supplier, tried to negotiate a price for them. 23% of US searchers surveyed indicated they'd be more likely to make contact with a business that showed pictures on their directory listing, because people like to deal with people. 88 million US adults have redeemed an online coupon. We're all seeing these things like Groupon and Living Social and all the other stuff. And even on your Google Places listing, you can create your own coupons and put them up there. 88 million people have redeemed them. 21% of US adults surveyed said they'd used a search engine to research a shopping decision in the past 1 in 5 adults who were researched have been on the internet in the last 24 hours looking up for some information before they make a decision. 80% of US adults under 35 consider the internet as their main source of information when it comes to local information. I keep using this. It's local. It actually worked out, if you just take the all age group, 70% of their population uses the internet to research local business. 39% of search engine users surveyed indicate that they were routinely frustrated because they couldn't find the local business they were looking for online. And if you look at business behaviour, that's us. only 27% of 1,500 businesses surveyed actively optimize their site for local search. And 4 million business users worldwide have claimed that their 4 million business users worldwide have claimed their Google places. But Google, when they created them, actually put up 50 million businesses. Only 4 million people bothered to react. 51% of businesses surveyed indicated that their ability to capture new customers with their website was fair to poor. And 17% of the total marketing spend for small businesses will be spent online. Only 17%. That's all. So we've got a survey here saying everybody's going online looking for you, and only 17% of the money that people are spending is actually on online stuff. 9% of small businesses surveyed said they felt satisfied with their internet. 9% actually thought they were actually achieving something. 52% of small business owners surveyed indicated that the phone book wasn't useful to them anymore. And I just want to show you what Google's the biggest marketer online. They're the biggest search engine online, and I want to show you they are serious about local business. It's the massive target for them. In July 2006, they created Google Maps. If you all remember the little red icons all over the maps, that's when they created it, July 2006. January 2007, they then decided to add little local results. So the little maps that you see now with the business on, they started adding that in January 2007. In 2007, they let people put reviews on the business map so people could actually comment on other businesses. In October 2007, Google added the coupon searches, so you could actually go online and see if any companies in Llanelli or Swansea were doing coupons. In January 2008, what used to be 3 listings on page 1 became 10, so literally the local listings began to dominate page 1. In February 2008, they refined the search, so you can actually look for companies based on their rating, the 5-star rating when you review people, because you can get the 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 stars. In March 2008, they then allowed business listings to be edited, so you could actually go in and edit your own business listings and start adding stuff to them, like pictures and videos and everything else. And if I look at what they've done since March 2008 till the present day, what they've done is they've taken Google Places and they integrated it onto Google Maps. The 10 box became a 7. So if you have a look now, if you actually type in and do a search now for anything like solicitors, plumbers, trades, etc., you'll find a box of 7 businesses will show on page 1 of Google. And the listings show without geo-targeting. You do not have to put in solicitor Llanelli or plumber Llanelli. The fact that you put plumber in, Google will know where you are and it will come up with a local list of 7. And the big thing they've done is they've now done Google plus local. About a week to a fortnight ago, where we've all had these Google places, they've now moved it. If you remember, this is what a map looks like. We get the Google Maps and then we get this list of 7 down here. And in the past, you would click on a link here and it could take you to the Google Places page and you'd see the images and you could see videos and there'd be a bit about the company, whatever the owner's written in there. And then you'd have some reviews on there. If anybody's left any reviews, they put their reviews on there. And that would be a typical Google listing. But here's the problem. Google had a major problem with all of this because people like me who are SEO experts, we cheat. Because how does Google decide what's going to be on page 1? And it goes by popularity. And the popularity is actually backlinks. That's links from another site linking to your site. So if the Scarlet's Rugby here wanted to be on page 1 of Google for rugby clubs in the UK, a lot of backlinks going to their particular website would move them up the rankings. And what they would do is, the votes that you get back, these links that are coming back to your site, they're seen by Google as votes. So Google is going along and saying, well, the problem we've got now is we don't know if these votes are true or not. Because I can tell you right now, there's companies in London, solicitors in London, and they sign up with an Indian company who are going to do their SEO. So they'll have 10,000 links coming back from Bangladesh websites back to their London solicitor site. That's nonsense. But Google had no other way of measuring it. And one of the ways they measure as well is they talk about this thing called PageRank and link juice. And what they mean is, If you get a link from a very powerful website, somebody like the BBC is a very powerful website, if you could get a link back from the BBC back to your site would shoot up the rankings. Because you try and get a link off the BBC, you've got no chance. So any authority site, trying to get a listing off them, a link back off them, and they're called high pay ranked sites, so they give you a lot of link juice back to you. So when you were looking at these votes, you were saying, like, where do you get these backlinks? We'd get them from all these different places. You'd have authority sites, you'd have directories. And when I'm talking about directories, every time you've listed your business in something like Yell and Yelp and Quip and Free Index and any local directories around here, any directory specific to your business, you know, if you're an accountant and you join all the accountancy type directories, every one of those lets you put down your web address. So that's a link back to your site. You could write articles and go and put them out on article sites. You can go comment on other people's blogs. You can go on to government and education sites, you know, like Swansea University, Carmarthen University. Try and get a comment on there and get a link back to your site. You've got, you know, the old traditional websites. You've got wiki sites like Wikipedia. People don't realise Wikipedia is a made-up website. It's actually made up by people like you and I who go on there and put the content on. So you can actually put content on Wikipedia, get it approved, have a link back to your site. Social networks, you can put links on your Facebook page linking to your website. There's just all these backlinks of votes. But the trouble is, we can actually manipulate it. So Google's problem was, you'd have all these spammy links, you'd have SEO companies from India just getting you any kind of junk link that you wanted. You know, as I said before, you can have tens of thousands of these so-called false votes. I myself, I own a network of sites where I can actually put links on and link back to myself because I've got them created all over the world. So all these things were giving Google a major problem because you are literally getting crap websites showing up on page one. If anybody's done search on Google, you know that sometimes you go on a website and you'll think, what the hell is this doing on page one? So Google had this major problem and it had to come up with an answer for it. And it's trying to do it when it does Google Local. Because what Google did was, last year in February, anybody who follows SEO at all or what's happening on the internet, they did what they called a Panda update. Panda is the surname of the person who actually came up with this. What Google decided was, too much crap on the internet. So they decided that they would get a whole, you can imagine this, because Google, the billions that they're making, they got a whole team of people sat down and they manually started going through websites and commenting on the website and would they go back to that website, if not, why not, and they basically analysed real human behaviour on these sites. And when they did that, that enabled them to come up with a computer algorithm that went across your site, my site and everybody else's to decide whether you were a crappy site or not and move you down the rankings. So they did a quality update back in February 2011. This year, in April, they did what they call the Penguin update. They had to invent the name Penguin because everybody was saying they'd done an update and people wanted to name it something. So they called it Penguin. And the Penguin update was all these spammy links that people have been getting everywhere. Google decided to hit them. So Google comes along and it goes, right, we're going to target these spammy sites. So people who, like me, who've got all these networks, there was a company in America had something like 30,000 blog sites making millions every year, and all 30,000 websites and do not exist any longer. The company was closed down the same day because Google found a way of finding out where all these spammy links were. And it did that when it did the Penguin update. So it's cleaned up the act so far. It's managed to get rid of crappy websites and it's managed to get rid of crappy links as best as it can. So since the Panda update, low quality sites just went off the rankings. Fresh content is rewarded better. Now here's a problem. When Google did the Panda update, if you think of some websites, you'll have like encyclopedia type websites where the information doesn't change. You know, it's history. But what Google has done is Google's actually rewarding you for fresh content. If you're doing updates all the time, Google will actually rank you higher than a site that isn't. The other thing it did is it penalised sites for over-optimization. So when you've got clever people like me trying to tell Google how clever your site is about the fact you're a plumber in Swansea, Google come along and said, if it looks too good, it's been cheated on, it's been over-optimized, and there's penalties. So they dropped down the rankings. When they did the Penguin update, they penalise anybody who's got unnatural links. So if you've got all these links coming from Bangladesh to your site in London, you're now off page 1. And as I said, whole networks were wiped out and delisted. So I'm on about Google Local, and Google Places. Google just understands the importance of local search. Like I've seen from when I tried to show you all those stats, it can see that's where the market's going. It knows people are going to go on mobile phones, mobile devices, iPads. People do local search when they're buying now. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. People start searching for local companies. And the other problem that Google had was, in the meantime, while it's doing all its thing, Facebook comes along and Facebook starts taking its money. Because Google, the only way Google makes money is the Google AdWords that you see when you go on any web page on Google. You'll see the adverts at the top and you see the adverts down the side. And when people click on those, Google gets paid. Well, Facebook came along and Facebook started doing adverts. And Google went, hang on, you know, they're going to take some money off us. So Google tried to get its own back by coming out with Google Plus, its own social network, which it launched last year. It's its 4th attempt at social networking. It's still not doing what they want, because last December, the Los Angeles Times predicted that Google would have 400 million users by December the following year. Now, you and I would go absolutely fabulous. But the problem is, Facebook is now up to 901 million and still growing every single month. 901 million, twice the size of what Google is. And the other thing is, Google decided it's got to be more aggressive. So you've got to get this picture. Google's seeing revenue disappearing. It knows social media is the way it's going, and it needs to get a social network up and running. And also, it wanted to get rid of all this thing of people doing spammy links and cheating the SEO system, the search engine system. So what Google did, it took your normal Google Places listing. So when you get that box of 7, it's taken it without your permission. They don't give a damn. It's already done it. You now have a Google Plus local business page, whether you want one or not. They've already been moved across this month, and every Google Places listing is now only found in Google Plus. So let's take this company here, a client of mine, Phelps & Williams. You'll notice now it's the same sort of listing that you had before, where you had your images and reviews, etc. But you'll notice it's actually in Google Plus. And the big thing is, the big change they've made, this is why it's going to be a big factor. Google wants to get away from this backlinking and links and all that. So here's how it's going to judge your business from now on. Reviews. Now, in the past, we could all go and get any reviews we liked. In fact, I could tell you there's companies up in Sheffield, I can pay the guy 30 quid a month, and he'll get me 30 reviews every month if I want to for my clients. That's all going now. Because Google has found a way of getting the reviews that it wants, making sure they're real, and making sure they're genuine, and being able to track them all. Because now, to write a review, if you went to a company, you went to your favourite restaurant, you went, oh, that's fabulous, I'm going to write a review for them. When you go to write a review, you have to have a Google Plus account. So the moment you click on there, you can see here when these are old reviews that were already on this particular site. All Google did, moved them across, and it said these people went on Google Plus, so they've just called them a Google user. We think they're not going to give them real value, because anybody could have made those reviews. They could just be made up by some company in India just going around making reviews everywhere. So the fact that they weren't logged into Google Plus at the time, we think they'll just devalue those. What happens is when you go to write your review now, this is what Google's going to tell you. One, it wants you to join Google Plus. This is how it's trying to drive its social media. So it's going to say, before you write your review, with Google Plus Local, all of your reviews and associated photos are visible to everybody on the web under the name of Steve Brown. So everybody who goes on to Phelps & Williams and has a look, they'll see my photograph, my opinion, my review. Anybody who's in my Google Plus circles, because the big difference between Google Plus and Facebook is, with Facebook you get all these friends, so you end up with your 500 friends. With Google Plus, the big difference is you can put your family in this circle, you can put your close friends in that circle, you can put your business acquaintances in that circle, and you decide which circles you want to see anything. So what Google's saying is, anybody who goes onto my profile will see the reviews I've left anywhere in Swansea, or anywhere in the world for that matter. Anyone who searches for a place, So if somebody's looking for a restaurant in Swansea, and I've commented on a couple of restaurants in Swansea, they will see my reviews on their computer. And anyone who actually goes on to that particular site there, Phelps and Williams, they'll see any reviews I've left. If I've already left reviews, because I did, Rachel Flanagan, we all know Rachel from Mrs. Bouquet, they came out and did some carpets for me. I went in and did a review for her. What Google will now do, the first time I log into Google to leave a review, it will find all my old reviews I've already left on the Google Plus, and it will say, do you want to share them? Do you actually want people to know it was you? Put the photograph up, etc. And when I tick the box and I say yes, what they'll actually see is that's how they'll start seeing my review. They see a photograph of me, they see it's me, they see the rating I give and all the comments I've done. Now you've got to realize how powerful this is, because what Google is saying now is they know that that is a genuine comment from a genuine person, because everybody is going to know who it's from. So if you think about it, my profile has now linked across to Phelps and Williams or Mrs. Bouquet, whoever I've left the review for. And this is what Google is now going to use for their new reviews. The old reviews are still there. If you look very closely at the bottom in the very small print, you'll see quite 4 reviews, Thompson Local 1, WeLoveLocal.com, there's 2 reviews. But Google's not going to take any notice of them, because anybody could have left them, somebody in India, anybody else. They are only going to count the Google Plus reviews, the people that create a review through Google Plus. And the other thing they did at the same time, I want to show you how serious they are on this, because this is going to affect you all as local businesses. They also went out and bought a company called Zagat. I'd never heard of them before, but Zagat are a restaurant review site that review all restaurants across the world. They are well known for their quality and the quality of their reviews and the scoring system they use. So Google decided, rather than have the 5-star rating system, we're going to start using the Zagat system. So they bought the company. So what happens at the moment, in the old days if you had 5 stars, when it transfers over here, Zagat only scores up to 3. So what they'll do is the old 5-star rating will become a 3 on the Zagat system. And when you've got enough reviews in there, i.e. over 10, what Zagat starts doing, it starts saying, right, how many points have you scored if we total them all up? As an average, how many people have actually left the reviews? And it's a score out of 30. So anything from 20 to 30 is considered a very good to excellent company. And Google is going to use this to measure you as a local company and a local business. Because if you think of Google's control, where it lost the control on the backlinking, Google now is saying you must have a Google Plus profile to be able to place a review. So it's going to force you and your customers to go in and create this Google Plus account. There'll be real accounts with profiles, because you've got to remember, Google knows everything, it's tracking everything, so it'll know the real accounts. Even if you created a false account, it will know by the fact that nobody goes back in there, it was false, so it will just end up taking the review off. Your review links your profile to the business, so again, it knows who it is. So reviews have become the new SEO for local business. So if you have a local business listed on Google Places, you now have to start getting reviews back to your site. But if you don't, and your competitors do, you'll start moving down the rankings. Another thing that they're doing in this, but if you go into that Google Places, and you'll find there's 2 boxes in there. And if you go in the top and type in Swansea, it could be any city, town you want, Google goes off and starts recommending all the pubs, all the hotels, all the restaurants, the theatre, and all the sort of things that you might be interested in. At this moment in time, we don't know where it's getting the data from, but what we're suggesting is going to happen, when you had sites like Zagat, when they were running these review sites, they have what they call power users, and the power users are people who are well known for their reviews and are considered authority. So we think that when the power users start leaving reviews, that's what's going to populate this. So it's important that you actually get good quality reviews back if you want to be seen. So if you want your business to be seen when somebody types in Swansea or Llanelli or whatever, you want to make sure you're getting the reviews for that. We also think that what they're going to do is, if you've got large circles of friends, so like Rupert's got far more friends than I have, because I'm a very lonely person, his reviews might be considered far more powerful than mine, because I've only got a circle of 10 friends and he's got a circle of 1,000. So again, getting a review off Rupert would be far more important than getting a review off me. So what do you need to do with this Google Plus? First of all, I don't care whether you want to do it or not, your listing is already moved across to Google Plus Local. It's already there. So like you did when you first set up your Google Places account, you had to claim it. You have to go back in and claim it again. The next thing you have to do is check that when the stuff transferred over, it did it properly, because there has been across the world complaints that some of the images were wrong and there's a bit of a mess up, which would happen in any computer system. So just check that your profile's still looking right. You need to realize these reviews are your new SEO. If you want to be in that top 7, I'll give an example. I was on the computer the other day just doing a video, and I type in plumber for Swansea, and you get a box of 7. Now, nobody's going to go beyond page 1. They're going to pick one of those 7 companies that come up. If I go and check Google Places, there are 344 plumbers listed in Swansea in Google Places. Only 7 of them will be seen. And the way they're going to get seen in the future will be by getting reviews. It's happened in the last couple of weeks. It's your chance to get a jump start on your competitors, because I'm telling you right now, most of them don't even know about this, because Google's done nothing to announce it. They've just done it. And just realize, Google is using social to judge your local business. It's not the same as searching for an iPhone and it comes up with Amazon and all these national companies. When they're looking local, they are now looking to see what local people say about your local business. That is what's going to get you the traffic. I think that was it. Yeah. Any questions?
Is there a way of embedding a link to send to customers to encourage them to go and do a review?
Absolutely, because that's all I do anyway. If you, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. One way I do it for Phelps and Williams is, if you go to their website, you'll find that they give £5 off for anybody coming down to do a purchase. And to get the £5 off, they have to put their name and email address in. If they do it online, fine. If they turn up there and they have a new tyre, exhaust or brakes fitted, the guys will say to them, have you had the £5 voucher? People go, no. We say, well, you can say £5 now, just put your name and email address in. They do that. 1 week later, we're testing this because you can vary the days, but 1 week later, they get an automatic email going out, and all the automatic email says, in very simple language, hope you had a good time with us when you called down the other day. We're always looking for feedback on how we've performed. Could you please do us a favour, take 2 minutes of your time, follow this link and leave us a testimonial or review so that we know how we're performing. In 6 months, they've had 6 reviews. You won't get thousands of them, I'll tell you that now. You don't need it for local. They've had 6 reviews, and even the negative ones were actually positive. They were just complaining the fact that a woman went in, and these are what Google loves, real reviews, because the woman went in, asked how much the tyre was, it was 47 quid. They told her about the 5 quid, so she was expecting to pay 42, but they actually charged her 49, took the fiver off and charged her 45, which none of it made sense. She commented on it, but she still said, fantastic service, fantastic lads, great company. So you can do that by setting up an email and just giving some kind of voucher away. I was talking to a company yesterday, carpet place, and we were saying, look, typical thing you could do, somebody has the whole house fitted out with new carpets, give them a £25 voucher off their next purchase of a mat or something to a value of 50, that's a minimum value of 50 quid. All they've got to do for that to qualify is to go and leave you some kind of testimonial, good or bad. Yeah. Anything you can do. Facebook, if you've got a Facebook fan page, just put on there, do us a favour, give them a link, leave us a review the next time you're in town, you visit us. Just anything you can do now to encourage. You need to go out of your way, because the one thing you've got to do, you've got to send them there. If you say to somebody, can you go on my Google Plus local page and leave a review? I don't know where yours is. Put a link in an email, on your Facebook, on your website, anything like that at all. Send them there, and you really want to work your backside off to get these reviews, because Google is going to put more and more and more emphasis on it. It wants people in Google Plus. It needs people in its social. So it's competing with Facebook, and it can get some of those revenues back. And it's the only way it can see. It's failed miserably the first 3 times. Google Plus came out last year. Google Plus is actually better than Facebook in some ways, but it still failed, because what happened was they had a big uptake. Everybody went online out of curiosity to see what it was. And then because all their friends went on there and people weren't sharing because they were all on Facebook, people started losing interest and dropping off. It has to get the momentum back. It's taking its gloves off. It is going to make sure this works.
Is there an equivalent to a like button?
That is the Google Plus one. Okay. If you go alongside, when you're on the internet and you do a search, if you mouse over every single listing that's there, you'll see a +1 button alongside it that suddenly lights up. If you click on there, you are actually saying, everybody, like they did with the review, everybody will now know that you like that page. So all of your friends, all your circle, etc. will know that you've liked it, and your name will be associated. So any of your friends go and mouse over that same company, your profile comes up alongside saying you liked it. It's very powerful stuff. Google, you've seen it. 2006 they started this. You know, we're not talking something they decided to do today. They've realised the power of local, and it's just getting more and more powerful. And I don't want to detract and go into mobile, but mobile, you know, next year, 2013, they're already saying there'll be more searches done on mobile devices, that's your phones, your iPads, your Androids. There'll be more searches done on mobile devices than will be done on desktop computers. It is the new way we all do it. And your Google Places listing is going to be very important. So if you have a local business, you need to get it on there. If you're not on there already, make sure you go and get one and create one. It's that important. It's going to dominate everything. You see it change rapidly over the next 12 months. Is that it? Cheers, Dan. Thank you.